Khamzat Chimaev has officially called out Robert Whittaker, and I want to talk a little bit about Volkanovski's legacy if he loses or wins this fight. Now, we'll start quite quickly with Khamzat Chimaev and Robert Whittaker, but first, please make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. The channel's growing very slowly. I really appreciate it. Let's just keep running up and keep the momentum going, so appreciate you guys. Right, so Khamzat Chimaev officially calls out Robert Whittaker, obviously signifying the move that he is going up to 185. This is a very, very stupid move from Khamzat in a way, because it's not so much the fact of him moving up to 185. It's not just because I wanted to see him versus Colby and him versus Belal Muhammad, him versus Leon, him versus Kamaru Usman. But it's also the fact that out of all the people he could have called out, he called out Robert Whittaker, and I just feel like this is the one nightmare stylistic matchup that he can't win. I've said this on countless videos. I've talked about this before. I think Robert Whittaker beats him quite soundly, quite comfortably, and I gotta be honest with you, man. It's one of those. It's one of those things where it's like I feel like there's two people in the middleweight division that would beat him. I feel like Paulo Costa and Robert Whittaker would beat him based off of stylistic matchups. I generally think Khamzat beats everybody else in the top 10. I think he ragdolls Pereira, ragdolls Adesanya, but Whittaker and Paulo Costa are just gonna be those two fighters that have his number. And Khamzat's got to be careful here, man, because if he gets the Whittaker fight, man, and if he loses that, I mean, that's his hype gone. That could potentially be his hype gone. That could be everything gone. And yeah, by the way, I'm doing this in my room because, yeah. But, like, that could be his hype gone. Completely shattered into orbit. And it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like he should fight someone else first. I feel like he should fight maybe the winner of Dolidze and Vettori. But yet again, he won't fight Vittori, I don't think. But I feel like Dolidze would win that fight, so maybe Dolidze, but he wouldn't deserve it because he's not on the rankings. Maybe someone like well, he won't fight Strickland either because they train together sometimes. Well, maybe they would fight each other. I don't know. He could fight anybody, really, that's in the top 10, but I just don't think Whittaker's the right move. I think if you're going to take a chance at the stylistic matchup, then take Costa, because I feel like he has a better chance against Costa, even though I do think Costa beats him. It's one of those things, though, where it's like, Whittaker is literally the anti-grappler, and Whittaker's one of those guys, man, you just do not want to fucking test out a division with, because this guy should literally be the champion right now. He got robbed in the second fight against Adesanya. And he came back and absolutely butchered and embarrassed Marvin Vettori. Like, Vettori didn't even belong there. And now you got a case of he wants to go up and face him. Now, I feel like Khamzat could have easily been champ at 170. I feel like the only people that would have posed problems to him is Colby and Usman. Maybe Belal, but other than that... I think he had a good chance, more than a good chance, because he was much bigger than everybody else. He was a weight bully, he was massive. But when you're going up against somebody like Whittaker, who's a similar size, who is shorter, but is an anti-wrestler, man. He's an anti-wrestler. His takedown defense is unbelievable. Yoel Romero couldn't hold him down. Nobody can hold him down. And he's got the anti-grappling to go with the superior striking. And, and he's just as fucking quick. And it's one of those situations where, like, Khamzat ain't going to bulk up to a certain degree because, Whittaker ain't going to wait around that long. He's going to fight somebody, and Whittaker's open to the fight, man. And I feel like Whittaker's got it in the bag. I feel like Khamzat's going to be one of those guys. He has his number. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that. I mean, like, I've said this countless times, though, but, like, because Khamzat's officially called him out there, I may as well make another video on it. I just feel like Whittaker's got his number, man. It's one of those things where Pereira has Adesanya's number. And based on paper, Adesanya has Whittaker's number, but it's not true, because Whittaker definitely won the second fight, but it's all good. And Whittaker will have Khamzat's number, in my opinion, but I feel like Khamzat will have Pereira and Adesanya's number. So it's literally a game of stylistic matchups, and that's what the game is about. So You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's unfortunate for Khamzat's hype if he takes this fight, and it's unfortunate because I truly believe Whittaker's going to maybe TKO him in the 5th round or get a very, very dominant decision as the rounds go by, because it's going to be a 5-round fight. Unless they'll understand the stylistic matchup and try and make it a 3-rounder. But even in a 3-rounder, I still think Whittaker will win. So, tough matchup, man, but tough break. But yeah, the second half of this, I want to talk about Volkanovski. I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, what would it mean for his legacy if he wins this fight against Islam? I don't believe he's going to win the fight. I have picked Islam, but if he wins this fight, where in the top fighters do you put him? Because Islam doesn't have the best resume in the world. I mean, his best win is Oliveira, who has run through Poirier more impressively than Khabib, ran through Gaethje more impressively than Khabib. So you also got to take that into account. But he also beat Chandler. But fuck's sake. But it's one of those things where it's like, he's number 2 pound for pound, not for bullshit. He's not number 2. He didn't even beat number 2. You know, Leon literally beat number 1, but didn't even get a sniff at number 1. But this is how I see it. If Volkanovski wins this fight against a much bigger man, with more experience when it comes to that size, then I feel like Volkanovski has to be put above Demetrius Johnson. And I feel like Volkanovski has to be up there with the top 4, top 5. And I feel like even if he defends the belt once, like, it all depends on the greats of all time. It depends if Jon Jones can beat Gane, and then it depends on that legacy. But if Jones does beat Gane, then, and especially if he does it impressively, then, you know what I mean, it's everything's up for debate, right? It's hard to discuss who's the greatest of all time and who's this and who's that. But I truly believe if Volkanovski wins this fight, man, yeah, you got to put him up there, man. He's up there with George, Anderson Silva. He's got to be, because he had to beat the greatest featherweight of all time 3 times. Twice, dominantly. Once edged him. To just even get a lick of respect, he had to beat the greatest featherweight of all time 3 times in a row. And people don't say enough about that. The fact that he had to do all of this just to secure some respect. You know, he beat Chad Mendes up on the way, he beat Jose Aldo, and he's beaten all these fighters, man. And he, you know, defends against Brian Ortega, Korean Zombie, looking dominant as hell. You know, certain moments against Ortega, you know, he survives a submission. So, you know, I mean, he's got the grit, the heart, and everything of a champion, man. And it's like, if he beats Islam, man, if he beats Islam, goes back down and beats the winner of Emmett and Yair, bro, I don't know, man, you got to put him up there. He's up there, double champ, you know what I mean? Shit on his resume, technically number 2 pound for pound that he's beaten as well. So you got to put him up there, man. You got to. And the thing is, it's one of those things where if you put him up there, you got to take a look at other people's resumes. But I'm just trying to put the thought out there. What do you think in the comments, right? What do you think? What do you think will do for about his legacy if he wins this fight? What do you think? Because personally, I believe this does more than enough for his legacy to be in the top 4. Because, I mean, number 2 pound for pound, double champ, defended multiple times, beat the greatest featherweight of all time 3 times in a row, beat the former greatest featherweight of all time before him, once. And then he goes on to defend his belt, and then he goes on to fucking go up a weight class and win the belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of factors into this, and I gotta be honest with him, man. He's gotta be top 4, in my opinion. So I feel like this will strengthen his legacy beyond belief. And then, he goes back down to the weight class and then beats the interim title holder, and then he goes back up. And do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just talking about the possibilities. I am picking Islam, though. But even if he loses this fight, man, even if Volkanovski loses this fight, which I think he will, it does a lot for his legacy, the fact that he even tried to go up and did all that. And say if he loses, comes back down to featherweight and defends the belt, his legacy's still intact, man. It's just, it'll improve his legacy into the top 4 if he does win this fight. That's what I believe. But anyway, guys, that's what I have for you today. And I just want to make this quick little video. So yeah, if you're new, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm Keep It Real MMA, as you can tell. This is Keep It Real MMA. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.